The Marvels is being sent to die. Dune 2, November 3rd. Hunger Games and Trolls 3, November 17th. This film is going to die, and they know it. Yeah, we're going to get to that. We got to talk about the Marvels and the reshuffling of this calendar. Disney thinks this is going to help them, and that's largely due to the fact that...
You really think VR, that they think it's going to help them? Because I'm not so sure anymore.
I think... Let me rephrase. We'll get into this more. But I think that Disney believes, as I stated in yesterday's video, that it's going to help them because they had such a log jam that they had created for themselves over the summer. And as I said in yesterday's video...
You're talking about marketing expenses, right?
Yes. Between May 5th and August 11th, Disney had potentially $750 million to $1 billion of yet unspent marketing dollars they would have to pump out in that 90-day period for the 6 freaking movies that they had lined up.
Now that's getting way into the weeds, though, for what the average person at home thinks about when they hear a movie's being moved. That's not the typical thing that you would jump to. Is now, what about the marketing spends within a particular quarter? So, kudos to you for digging that out. The one thing, when we come to this later, watch out, because Hunger Games is the big threat there.
It is. What do you guys think of Dune 2?
I can't wait for it.
I'm excited.
Yeah. You think it'll be a hit, or?
I think
it could be a moderate hit.
I think it will be a much bigger hit than the first one, only because, and this is part of the reason, when David Zaslav came in, who was the first person he fired? Jason Kilar, who created the whole Project Popcorn bullshit at Warner Brothers when they started that. And you know, let's do day and date releases with everything in the 2021 slate. Dune was among them. They had to pay Legendary Pictures several hundreds of millions of dollars to get out of that theatrical deal because Legendary was threatening to take them to court.
Right.
So Dune 2 should get an exclusive traditional theatrical window. And should do, I hope, fairly well. We're way away from that at this point. I mean, the marketing campaign, we're still 6 months away minimum from that getting off the ground.
Well, what I find interesting about Dune 2 is that it's got a $165 million production budget. And if I'm not mistaken, that's high for Warner Brothers, right? They've been trying to really limit that down, stay around 125.
165 isn't.
It's not extraordinary, but
it's not terrible for a movie of that scale.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was probably amortized from the first one because a lot of the things they built for the first movie would have been reused and repurposed in the second one, both physical and
I guess
digital.
What I'll be interested in is to see what kind of marketing spin they put on that movie, what kind of effort they put to really, drive that into commercial, drive that into the trailers on every single screening you see prior. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, that movie is pretty much like an anti-Marvel movie. It's got thought and it's got a bit of slowness that I appreciate. So I'm excited.
I'll be there.
Indeed. I am too. I love Dune, but I think at this point, David Zaslav and company are going to be laser focused in on the Flash and these other things they have to get off their plate right now. Look, Disney's slate, and let me pull this up because I had this queued. This is going to bring us into a great segue into this. Let me find the right slide here. I've got too many of them up here today. With my comparative chart for the Disney, here we go.
It's on Monitor 7, Valiant. Monitor 7.
Monitor 8, actually. You're getting it wrong. I've got too many of these. So here we go. This is Disney's slate. This is what we're talking about. This is what Disney is dealing with this year from a financial perspective. Guardians 3. Of course, I've already kicked Ant-Man out. That's done deal. Guardians 3, May 5th. Little Mermaid, May 26th. Elemental, which is a Pixar film, June 16th. Indiana Jones and the... gives a crap. On June 30th, The Marvels, July 28th, which has been moved to November, and The Haunted Mansion, August 11th. 90 days, 6 pictures. The average marketing budget for each of those pictures is probably going to be somewhere around $125 million each.
Right.
Now you know why they want to move the Marvels. Number one, it probably sucks, and they have to do a lot of reshooting. Hopefully to cut out as much. Well, take it back. If they cut out everything they need to cut out, there's no movie left. So never mind. But that
when are they moving that to?
That's going to be in the November slot, the Thanksgiving slot, like Wakanda Forever was just a couple of months ago on Doomed.
Except 3 weeks early.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same slot, but it's 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, which gives those others that are coming out after it a better shot at riding that Thanksgiving wave, in my opinion.
Now, I want to ask y'all, because I have an answer, and probably or you've heard me say this before. Undoomed, of this slate, what do you, when you look at this, what is your opinion? What's your gut reaction? Where do you think they're going to have their biggest success? Where do you think they're going to have their biggest fail?
I mean, I think I'm maybe biased, but I think Guardians is going to be a success. And I probably think Indiana Jones will be too. It's just too much nostalgia for people to stay away from that, I think.
Wait till you hear the budget.
Well, I mean, it could still be a financial failure, I suppose.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what the budget is for that movie?
Not really, no.
Do you want to take a guess?
Yeah. Well, that's, I don't know, like $250.
Okay. Valiant, before you say it, let me just say, this is again one of those things you'll only hear right here, and I'm gonna sing the praises of Valiant because Forbes put this out. Forbes got the calculations wrong. Valiant showed in a video exactly how Forbes got the equation wrong and showed the real budget. And it's not arguable because it's right there. It's clear. It's math. Valiant, go for it.
So, Undoomed. Mm-hmm. Forbes magazine released about a week ago an article from a British writer that tracks tax returns effectively for UK companies, which Disney frequently uses with movie productions. Indiana Jones was one of them. Their Disney Cruise Line is another one we covered several weeks earlier. As of December 31st of 2022, the production company PLT, which is responsible for everything Indiana Jones 5, had already spent 244 million British pounds sterling.
Right, that's got to be like 300 then, right?
$300 million as of today's exchange rates. However, when the money was actually spent in 2021 during production, the equivalent would have been $350 million US. And the exchange rate, the FX drag, the foreign currency exchange drag, is trending back to that same rate in 2021 right now. So that by the time Indiana Jones actually releases this summer and the bill for the credit line comes due in, say, October of this year, it very well could be $1.40 per 1 British pound sterling again. So we're talking $350 million, if not possibly getting closer to $400 million by the time they finish, because that was as of December 31st of last year. That doesn't include any other work that's being spent and paid for right now to get that movie done.
That's crazy. I mean, it shouldn't be necessary to have that much expensive stuff in an Indiana Jones movie. I don't know, like that's more expensive than probably Avatar.
It's getting close. Yes. It's getting very close.
I don't think they spent $400 million on that, right?
It was close to it, but then again, the thing is with Avatar was that there was a lot of costs that were amortized into the first movie that are also being expensed into movies 2, 3, and 4. At least, well, I should say 3, 4, and 5, I guess, with the sequels.
Right.
Because,
but
Cameron inventing a whole bunch of totally new cameras and tech to shoot the movie, they amortize a lot of those costs up front in the first film that they're going to use again for the next 2 or 3.
Okay, so maybe that one is a little bit more expensive, but an Indiana Jones movie should not be that expensive. It's crazy.
Well, when they spend the entire film putting Harrison Ford's face on other actors, it tends to be quite pricey, and that's what we're looking at. Now, on a serious note, guys, I'm trying to decide what we should actually call this movie. I've had different people tell me that we should call it Indiana Jones and the Dumpster Fire of Destiny, and I was going with that, but now I have heard Indiana Jones and the Adult Diapers of Destiny, and I have to say that's that's got a ring to it. So chat, let us know which way we need to go with this.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
I like that one. So we'll just go with that one. So, yeah, indeed. It's and that's the thing. I think you're right. From the standpoint of Indiana Jones has a lot of the potential, and it should. And I want to say, just like Guardians 3, I want that movie. I want Indiana Jones. My God, I want Indiana Jones to be good. I want it to be an amazing film. I want to walk out of that theater in tears, thrilled for the send-off that Harrison Ford got. The last Indiana Jones movie that I went to see in a theater was in 1989 with The Last Crusade, my father and I. And my dad died about 6 years later. That, to me, was the end of the Indiana Jones epic. Crystal Skull was terrible. It was just terrible. It was absolutely awful. And I fear that was before Disney bought it. I'm absolutely terrified of this movie at this point. I want to be wrong so bad. I just want to be wrong.
Mangold is.
I hope it's good.
Now that Mangold is sort of framing it like in the same vein as us getting used to Luke in The Last Jedi, I'm pretty worried.
Yeah, I'm worried. I hope it's good, but I have my doubts.